and welcome to the final episode of Let's Go Parma. I'm Stubo. Thank you for joining me in the finale. I've already said it, I'm saying it again. The finale of this save, not just the season finale, but the series finale as well. We're going to be wrapping up the save here. We're going to be talking about not just this season, but seasons past as well. A bit of reminiscing, and then a brief little chat on what comes next. So, disclaimer, if you have either not finished the series up until this point, or you have not started the series and you've somehow found your way onto this episode, this top corner over here, make sure my finger's actually in the shot. This corner over here, look up there, there is a link to the playlist for the entire save. If you don't just want the entire playlist, I have got individual playlists for each season as well, if you'd prefer to view it that way. But go and give the series a watch before you come to here, because then you won't have anything spoiled. I mean, there's a little bit of spoilers on the screen right now. Don't look at the screen, look at me, and then look up there. They're the only things you need to look at if you've not watched up until this point. Right. I'm assuming after this point, everyone else who's still watching, all 7 of you, are actually people who have watched the series. So, we're going to get into the series, well, we're going to get into the season review first, then we'll get into the series review as well. And what a season it has been, let's be completely honest with you. If you have enjoyed the save, by the way, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any lovely FM content from yours truly. Let's get into the review, shall we? Let's see how we did this season. We did very, very well. I mean, let's just get that out of the way right now. In terms of new arrivals, I mean, we were pretty good in the transfer market this season. We spent an awful lot of money. The bank balance isn't as healthy as it could be. However, we did it with an aim to win the title, and that is exactly what we did. Right at the top with the highest rating, Nordi Mukiele. We signed him from Barcelona in January, and he came in and he became one of our star centre-backs. Only 18 appearances, 16 starts, and 2 substitutions with 3 goals and an assist. He came in, I think he really helped us in that second half of the season. He formed a formidable partnership with Arthur Theat. I can't say much more really. £37 million, I think it was £37 million, very well spent. The return of the king, Sebastiano Esposito. We signed him for 2 seasons, back in Season 2 and Season 3. He was our starting striker Season 2. Season 3, we did sign Lorenzo Lucas, so he became more of a backup striker, but still scored a lot of goals for us in that season. This season he's come in and he's been not even a completely different player, he's just been a completely more evolved player. 45 appearances altogether, 36 goals, 7 assists as well. I mean, if I'm doing the maths right, he has got a goal contribution for every start. That is pretty insane, if you ask me. £29.5 million. Bargain, as far as I'm concerned. Absolute bargain. Brandon Soppy, so good. He forced Sambia out of the team, and Sambia was the guy who helped us get promoted. Wonderful stuff from Brandon Soppy, 24 years old, very, very good fullback, 9 assists, no goals, but he's not there to score goals. He's there to defend and get the occasional assist, which he did. Very good, £11.5 million. I know I said it about Sebastiano Esposito, but this time I mean it. Genuine bargain. Considering his value is up to £45 million, 100%. What a bargain he was. Marcus Enrique. Marcus? Where did Marcus come from? Matthias Enrique. We brought him in January just to bring us a bit of defensive stability in the midfield, so we had another playmaker. He did replace a very popular player at the club, but he came in and did a decent job. Only 8 appearances, but that's what he was brought in to do, to be a backup player for Monchu. A goal and an assist as well. Did himself very good justice indeed. Marco Carnesecchi didn't play quite as well as I was hoping he would in the appearances he made. However, he did make plenty of appearances, and he wasn't a bad goalkeeper. At 7.21 average rating, he did a very good job for us, really, and I think he would definitely grow into being the club's #1 goalkeeper. He would eventually replace Dragowski. £4.5 million. Absolute bargain for him. I didn't talk about Matthias Enrique's value, actually. Probably a bit more than we would have liked to have paid, but it was okay. £4.5 million for Carnesecchi, though. My word. He has been called up to the Italian squad for the championships in the summer in this save as well. He's not actually made an appearance yet, but as you can see, he is on international duty, so hopefully he does a good job there. Isaac Johannesson, the most expensive player in the club's history. £44.5 million. I think it's been worth it. Bearing in mind, he's spent an entire season playing as a winger when he's mainly a central midfielder. I think he's made the transition well. 10 goals, 11 assists in 36 starts with another 6 substitution appearances. There were times he looked out of his depth. There were times where he looked absolutely fantastic. the fantastic times definitely outweighed the out of his depth times, and I think he did a very good job for us. Roman Enriquez made his transfer permanent from Inter. He's been on loan since season 2. We finally made him a permanent transfer, and actually, he played a decent amount of games for us. 10 starts, 4 substitution appearances, got a few assists, got a goal as well. Whenever we needed him, he was there, and he stepped up and he delivered. Very happy we signed him. Yes, he's not the best player in the world, but you know what? He's an all-round decent player to have in your squad. He can cover anywhere in the middle. We probably could have trained him to play on the wing as well, but he does a good job for us. Jose Maria, Brazilian wonder kid. What more do you need to say? £12.75 million spent on him. Absolute bargain. Again, I'm saying it again. It is a bargain. 9 goals and 9 assists in 19 starts and 16 substitution appearances. His development was going very, very well indeed. I think he would have turned into an absolute superstar. He's a model citizen wonder kid. What more do you need to say about that? Jose Fontan, we brought him in as a backup left back. Yes, he is more a centre back than anything, but he did do a good job wherever we played him. Predominantly, it was as a left back, and he did all right. Not too unhappy about him, if I'm honest with you. 22 starts, 11 substitution appearances, got a couple of assists. £20.5 million was a bit expensive for a backup, but we were getting to that point where we knew we needed to spend in order to get the best players in, and he definitely did a job for us. Marco Kana, we had pennies left. We spent those pennies. £19.25 million is probably a bit too much for what effectively amounts to a low-level squad player. But he came in, did a job for us in that one start and those 5 substitution appearances. Looked solid enough. Would have provided cover for us for seasons to come, and will provide cover for the future managers. Transfers out. I mentioned that we brought Enrique in to cover for a player who was leaving, a very popular player, and that was Danilo Cataldi. Former vice-captain, is still a very good player, but wasn't getting the game time he should have been getting, and to be honest, it was one of those. We're going to get the maximum value for him now. If we let him stay for any longer, we won't get that value. So I think we did a good job in letting him go. He's made 6 appearances for Juventus. Done an okay job for them. Hopefully he gets some game time next season as well. Gabriele Zappa was a noticeable weakness in the team, if I'm honest. In fact, both of our backup fullbacks, and we'll get onto the other one in a moment, were noticeably not as good as the rest of the team. So it just made sense to move him on. £5 million, that'll do. I can't remember what we bought him in for. I don't think it was that. I think it was quite less than that. Yeah, £3.5 million. Made a profit, can't complain too much. He absolutely did very, very well at Verona. I'd say very, very well. He did well at Verona, playing most of the season, got a few assists, did okay. Emmanuel Valeri is in a similar situation, obviously injured towards the end of last season, didn't start the season fit. We brought in, I'm forgetting his name. What's his name? Fontan. I keep forgetting his name. Brought in Fontan. Valeri was never getting back in the team, so we moved him on to Premier League Norwich, and he did have a decent season there. 19 appearances, got an assist, did okay for them. And again, we made a profit on him, £1.3 million spent, and we got £5.75 million for him, which was a pretty good deal. Dennis Mann then went to Bournemouth, again, had a very good season, as you can see. 37 starts, 2 substitution appearances, 8 goals, 3 assists, did a good job. We definitely made a profit on him. I can't remember exactly how much it was. It was a healthy profit, to be fair. Over 20 million, nearly £25 million profit, I think that is. That is pretty good going, actually. And I didn't even sign him, so we made a profit on a player I didn't even sign to begin with. Matteo Gabir, we made a bit of a profit on as well, and he didn't want to play the part that we kind of agreed with him. He wanted to start more. He was never going to start more, so we moved him on. Went to Almeria, played some games. These two we don't really care about. The one we do want to talk about is Gennaro Totino. Club legend Gennaro Totino, as far as I'm concerned. For those first 2 seasons, he did very, very well for us. Went to Sassuolo, did get relegated. We'll pretend that bit didn't happen. But, again, we made a profit on him. £4.7 million. Again, we joined the club when he was here on loan with a future fee agreed. Look at those first 2 seasons. He was fantastic. And then just struggled as time went on. Didn't really play this season. Certainly was not back to his best this season either. But do you know what? He did what he needed to do. He went and got to another club. And hopefully, in Serie B next season, he can recapture his best form. In terms of competitions, we're going to start with the Supercoppa. Board didn't care about this one at all. We went and won it anyway, because that's what we do. We won it last season as well, so it's 2 years in a row we won that one. Coppa Italia, however, not the same story. We've won it 2 seasons in a row. We were looking for the hat-trick this year. Got knocked out by Lazio in the quarter-final on penalties. The board not happy about that. They wanted us to get to the final. We did not. Champions League, however, they were quite happy with. I don't think they actually wanted us to reach the first knockout round. I'm sure it was just reach group stage. I'm not unhappy about it because we achieved what they said, but I'm sure that has changed, and we'll see that in the League One in a minute. But we did get to the first knockout round, Difficult draw against Liverpool. We drew against them in the home leg. Away from home, we defended very well, but our attack just could not live up to expectations. We lost 1-0, not knocked out. But you know what? It's absolutely fine. We did ourselves proud to get through that group with Leipzig, Real Madrid and Celtic. I think we did very, very well indeed. I mean, we battered Celtic in that second leg. 8-3, my word. Then we get to the league. Well, the demons from last season have been thoroughly expunged. We destroyed AC Milan in the end. 11-point gap at the top. We destroyed them on goal difference. We beat them earlier in the season, I think. And yeah, we did actually. 3-1 we beat them, and then we drew against them near the end of the season. We actually lifted the trophy at the San Siro. Unlucky boys. Board expectation was not qualified for the Champions League. I am 100% sure it was qualified for the Europa League. I'll try and find out if that is the case, but I'm sure it was. But obviously we beat that anyway. We finished first. Seb Esposito was the competition top goal scorer, both for us and in the league as well. And the board obviously delighted. Moments to remember. Battered Celtic 8-3. 2 of these things are on the same ones. The biggest win is the 8-3, and the goal of the season is that. And the match to remember, apparently, was this random 5-1 win. I think it probably was, because it was when Esposito really started firing. He struggled to begin with. We were experimenting with what role he was playing as a striker. Settled on advanced forward. We knew he'd be good as an advanced forward, but we wanted him to be a deep line forward, and it just didn't work for him. So we got that hat-trick, and that really set us going, I think. But the goal of the season was the 48th minute goal from Rooney Bargi. So I can't remember what this one was. So I was starting with a throw with Soppy. Gets it to Bargi. Bargi over to Monchu. Monchu back to Bargi. He's going to smack it. Think he is. I mean, left a little bit cold by that, to be honest with you. I don't think that was particularly impressive. I am sure I've seen us score far better goals than that. I'm sure I've seen Monchu score far better goals than that. But, okay, fine. Goal of the season, apparently. In terms of finances, things are not quite as good as I was hoping they would be. In particular, I thought our club reputation would have gone up. Maybe that will happen over the summer, which obviously we're not going to see. Our sponsorship up by 4 million. Good times. Broadcast revenue down by 10 million. I'm not entirely sure why that is. That might be something to do with Europe, because obviously we made it to the Europa League final last season. Didn't make it that far in the Champions League this year. Maybe that balances itself out. I'm not too sure, but obviously we've lost 10 million there. And we've made 4 million there, so we've net loss of 6 million at the moment. I say net loss, I'm not too sure if it is a net loss, but it's a loss of 6 million overall between those two. Made a little bit more on corporate and hospitality than we did previously, but then the competition prize money down again. We didn't reach 2 finals this year compared to last year. The Coppa Italia and the Europa League last year, whereas we didn't this year. And then the match day in commercial and retail down as well. Not too sure why that is, but we made some money in these areas, and we lost a bit in these areas, but I think everything balances itself out, to be honest with you. In terms of shirt sales, Esposito, the #1 shirt seller. Again, return of the king, coming back to the club and doing great things. Johannesson, Greenwell, Rooney Bargi and Karabek, the other shirt sellers. No Coutinho, which is quite interesting. Team of the season, Dragowski in goal. I think that probably is right on balance. I don't think Karnasecki played enough really to be considered, but there were times when Dragowski looked really, I don't know, didn't quite look the same as he has in the last few years. Soppy, Thiac, Greenwell and Cambiasso in defence. I find it difficult to argue with that, although I would say Leo Greenwell was challenged very much for that central defensive role by Mukiele. Mukiele, probably, if he was here at the start of the season, would be in there because he was just fantastic for us. Cambiasso at left back. Yeah, I mean, I know we brought Fontana in to compete with him, but Cambiasso was always going to be our starting left back. There was never going to be any risk of him not being in this team of the year. Also, I like to see the fact that we're in the 4-3-3 rather than the 4-2-3-1, because I think we were at our most effective in this system. Monchu, Karabek and Castrovilli in the midfield. No arguments there whatsoever. I think there were times when Coutinho looked very good, and Castrovilli did take a while to get going, but in the end, he actually had a decent season. 9 assists, 2 goals. Did look good for us. Bargi and Johannesson on the wings. 0 complaints from me whatsoever. Jose Maria was a bit too inconsistent to go in there. Mind you, Rooney Bargi was at times as well, but he did deserve to be in there, and Esposito up front was absolutely fantastic. In terms of accolades, I won Manager of the Year twice. Result: won the Manager of the Year for 2025, and we also won the 25-26 Serie A Manager of the Year. The first one being the Manager's Manager of the Year. So my fellow managers voted me in. Marvellous. In terms of the club awards, Fans Player of the Season is Sebastiano Esposito. No surprise. Young Player of the Year, Esposito. No surprise, although I'm surprised he got it because there are younger players who did very, very well, but he's 23, so it still counts. Signing of the Season, Esposito. No surprise. Goal of the Season, Rooney Bargi. I'm sure we've scored better goals, but I'll let them have it. Top goal scorer was Seb Esposito with 36 in all competitions. Very, very good season from him. Rooney Bargi with the most assists, not Monchu for once. Esposito with the most player of the match awards and the highest average rating. And Mukiele getting the most passes completed per 90 minutes with 81. In terms of competition awards, we've got a few of them. Best Young Player of the Year, Berton Below. Homegrown player, we've hung on to him. He has grown into a very capable central defender. He's done a good job for us. He's also the best defender of the season. I think Mukiele would have pushed him if he'd have been here in the summer, and I've already said that about him, but I think he would have definitely been in there. Best midfielder of the season, Monchu. Monchu doing Monchu things as normal. The European Golden Boy, Rooney Bargi. He's won a few awards as a 20-year-old, I'll tell you that right now. The under-17 best midfielder, Philippe Donvito. So good, he's won it twice apparently. Not going to argue with it. Serie A Player of the Year, Seb Esposito. And the top goal scorer we also know is Esposito. In terms of record breakers, Esposito has broken the record for goals in the season with 36. League goals as well with 31. I think that he's beaten Inglese for both of those, but again, that's only records from the start of this save, so take that with a pinch of salt. Most goals by a player in a match, 4, Esposito. Most goals by a player in a league match, 4, Esposito. And as I mentioned before, highest transfer fee paid for Isaac Johannesson. We have been a very good team this season, and when you look at that table, obviously we're only seeing a bit of it there, but we've absolutely dominated AC Milan. I mean, fact, let's have a look at the table. Let's have a look at it compared to last season. So if we go to stages, look at last year's. We finished on 91 points, 3 points off the top. We had a lower goal difference. We were less goal... I mean, to be fair, our defence was actually probably better than this season's, actually. Yeah, our defence was better than this season's. But then everyone's was better than this season's, actually. Everyone was not as good defensively this year, but our goal scoring just off of what was actually higher than AC Milan's, actually. So our goal difference wasn't too bad, actually. But this season, we turned it up with the goals for, absolutely smashed it with goals for, over 20 goals more on there. But 91 points, and then we finished with 98 points. So we're 7 points better off this season, winning the title. AC Milan, interestingly, finished 94 points last season. This season, 87. So they finished 7 points off of what they did last year. So they've clearly got a bit of a rebuild to do. We're not going to be doing that one. We'll do one of the other clubs. Speaking of the other clubs, Juventus and Inter, the two that we're looking at, both finished in the Champions League this season. So that is our target for whichever one of them we take over, because I haven't decided yet. Juventus and Inter. The target is to win the league, 100%. We've got enough money to be able to build a squad to do it, but they both finished in the Champions League, so that is the bar that we need to clear when we do that save. In terms of just all of the stats for the league, as you can see, Esposito winning by a goal in the Golden Boot was also the average best player, as was Sopi, as was Below, second and third. We also had Monchu, Theat, Greenall, Sambia. Loads of players involved in there as well. In terms of assists, we were joint fifth with Isaac Johannesson and Rooney Bargi, and then Castrovilli in 8th as well with 10, 10 and 9 respectively. We also got Brandon Soppy down here with 8, and Coutinho down here with 7. Felipe Coutinho, I think, is one of the success stories of this save. I think he's done a great job for us. He's made 25 appearances in all, 6 goals, 7 assists. I am really, really happy we got him to work, because those first few games were quite painful, if I'm being honest with you. I was really worried, but in the end, I mean, his rating would have been higher had we got him working straight away, but it took a little while, and then we got him, and this season I think he's been even better. If we look at his form in his last few games, I don't think he's been at his best, but he's still been very, very good. Obviously, he's missed a couple of games, he's played a few, but then played here, did a good job, 7.4, did a good job here as well. Got an 8.3 with 2 assists, 1 assist in the previous one. A couple of goals down here, a couple of assists here. He's just been a good player to bring either on or start from the beginning. Like, he's just been one of those players who you can just rely on to give you a little bit of magic. That 18 flair, I think, really makes a difference, along with his passing and his vision. He is on the decline now, 33 years old. He's got a year left on his deal. I'm very, very happy with what he did. I just wanted to quickly go through that because I'm glad to see that he's somewhere on this list. In terms of team stats, I do want to have a quick look at things like expenditure and stuff like that. So, salary per annum, we've actually raised. We were quite low before, but we've ended up spending quite a bit of money over the last couple of years to get us up to challenging. So, we are 6th in that table. In terms of our transfer spend, we're also 6th as well. We have spent a lot of money. It has been worthwhile because it has worked, but it is worth pointing out that we had to spend to get here. And in terms of the attendance, 14th, that is why we're getting a new stadium. But I think, personally, we've been pretty fantastic. Actually, this is something I want to look at as well. Disciplinary. Yellow cards. We're 4th on the table of highest yellow cards. We are very, very lucky. We are the highest placed team on this list in terms of where we finished in the league. We're very, very lucky in some respects, I think, because that is a lot of yellow cards. In terms of red cards, we are mid-table, which you can kind of get away with. Actually, AC Milan are much higher than we are. Look at Spal with 11 red cards. My word, someone needs to be having a word there. It has been a fantastic season and a fantastic save. We've got the Player of the Year winner confirmation as there. We'll give him a pat on the head. Top goal scorer as well, Immobile and Colombo coming very, very close. We did not get anywhere near the goalkeeper of the year. There you go. There's my manager of the year thing. Right, team of the year. I mean, that's a thing of beauty. That is an absolute thing of beauty. Dragowski in goal. Theat and Greenwell as a central defensive partnership. Monchu, Coutinho and Karabek in the midfield. Interesting to see Coutinho's there, not Castrovilli. And Rooney, Bargi and Esposito in the attacking roles. The only players not ours are the fullbacks and one of the wingers. Calabria, Theo Hernandez and Rafael Leao. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then for the 2nd or 3rd year in a row, we are the best club of the year. I do think we've won it We've actually won it 2 years in a row as well. So it's a hat trick of best clubs in the year awards for us, and we should be very, very happy with that. And then there is the manager of the year shortlist, which we don't really care about. But we could not have done it without this squad of players, and there are some absolute legends in this team, I think. Absolute legends. Arthur Theat could have left multiple times, but now look at him. He is a 4.5-star quality player. He's 25 years old, 24 caps for Belgium. Manchester City were after him. Tottenham are now after him. I feel like other clubs are going to come in for him as well. When you look at his stats, this is a player I think I will be looking at for FMs to come. And I think I'll be keeping an eye on his general progress in real football as well. I don't know where he's actually playing at the moment. I feel like it's in France. I feel like Villa recently played him in a pre-season friendly. So I'm going to try and keep an eye out for him, because I think if he develops like he has in FM, he could be an absolute world beater. He has been superb for us. Our vice captain this season as well, and I think he's done a good job when he stepped in. Speaking of captains, Monchu, where is he? There he is. Monchu, no international experience whatsoever, but the man just knows how to get things done. He's from Barcelona, so we all know that he's going to have a reputation as being a good player because of that, and he has been superb for us. If we look at his history here, bought him in for £6.75 million, the highest transfer fee he's ever had, and he's just been superb. That was season 4 we brought him in at the start of, so we just got promoted. We brought him in. I think we brought him in January as well. 19 appearances, 2 goals, 5 assists in that first season. Did a good job for us, and then he's been very consistent ever since. Didn't score in season 3, but scored 6 goals in season 4. I think he was on penalty and free kick duty here. Got 10 assists, was 5 Player of the Match awards as well. And this season, not quite the same output, but we did put him in that reduced role at the back of the midfield, at the base of the midfield, and he did a very good job there for us. And I can't be much happier than that, to be honest with you, with him. Let's just talk about the king, shall we? Sebastiano Esposito, only a 3-star striker, but he has got 2 caps for Italy. Hopefully he'll be getting goals for them soon. And the career this lad's had, Inter Milan, he's barely played any games for them. When we first started the save, he was at Basel on loan. 6 goals, 2 assists. We then got him in season 2 to be the man who led the line, and led the line he did. 30 appearances, 17 goals, 5 assists, did very well for us. And then the season after, we signed Lorenzo Luca. He still got in 26 appearances, 18 goals, 2 assists. It was still fantastic for us. Then went to Napoli for £11 million. £11 million, got 11 goals and 4 assists for Napoli. Didn't really compete at his best, and then we signed him. Oh boy, did he figure out how to put the ball in the back of the net. 31 goals in 34 appearances. 6 assists to go with that as well. That is more than a goal contribution a game. 7 Player of the Match awards. This is our forever striker if we were continuing the save. I don't think anyone's in for him. Actually, that's a lie. Lyon and Real Madrid want him. I do remember Real Madrid being in for him. If I was staying on, I can tell you right now, Lyon would not be getting him. He'd be going to Real Madrid for the big bucks. What a fantastic player he turned out to be. Adam Karabek can be in that category as well. I think he would just continue to get better and better, although apparently he's kind of leveled out now. He's a 4-star player at 22 years old, 18 caps and 6 goals for the Czech Republic, but he has been superb since that £12.5 million move. I mean, what is he worth now? He's worth £68 million, and we bought him in for 12.5. Incredible. Again, another January signing. Some of our January signings have been superb, but 16 appearances, 6 goals and 4 assists in that half a season was superb. Output wasn't much better next season, but I do think he struggled with injury there. And I actually think he might struggle with injury this year as well, to be honest with you. Struggled to stay fit, maybe. But then we also did rotate quite a bit this season, so maybe it wasn't that. But he did get more goals this season than last season, but the assists did struggle. But then we did change the system, so he was playing predominantly as a central midfielder on attack for the majority of this year, but did do a good job there as well. As a shadow striker, though, I never normally get on with shadow strikers, but he definitely did do the job for us, and it's something I will now consider to use more in the future. We have to talk about Junior Sambia. He kind of didn't click this season quite as much, although look at his rating. His rating is superb, and we signed this guy back in season 1. We signed him while we were in Serie B. He came in, he scored 1 goal for us, and I do believe that was the goal that confirmed us either getting promoted or it confirmed us going up. I think it was as champions. I think it was the one that got us up as champions, but he came in, did a great job for us. It was our solid first choice right back for 3 seasons, and this season just didn't quite get there. 12 starts, 2 substitution appearances. He's a legend in my eyes at the club, an absolute legend. He's done a great job for us. Did score this season as well. Only 2 goals he scored for us was in season 1 and the final season. He is leaving us to go to, I can't remember where he's going to. Where is it? Fiorentina. He's going to Fiorentina. So he's staying in Italy, so we will see him still. But bless him. Bless him. Bless his cotton socks. He's a very good player, and he did a very, very good job for us. There was someone else I was going to look at. Where is it? Oh, yeah, that's who I was going to look at. Dragowski. Speaking of players we signed early on, we signed him at the beginning of Season 2. £4.2 million. Absolute bargain. Look at the amount of clean sheets he's got for us. Never won goalkeeper of the year. Never got top clean sheets of the year, but he got very close indeed. 15 clean sheets in that first season. Played every game but 1. Missed 1 game the season after. 19 clean sheets. Missed a bunch of games the season after that, but only conceded 17 and got 19 clean sheets again. That was the season we nearly won the league. This season we did win the league. He actually conceded a few more, got less clean sheets. But remember, we had a better backup goalkeeper who came in. So I would have been interested to see how we would have done last season had he not got injured, actually. I would have been very interested to see. But honestly, a legend of the game, in my opinion. £40 million is worth. Again, we made a healthy transfer profit on him. I don't think we'd be letting him go this season unless someone came in with a big offer, but he probably would be reduced to being our backup goalkeeper, if I'm honest with you. Botan Below, the homegrown boy. I mean, yes, he signed from a club in 2018, 2019, but that's not the point. Signing for 70k. How much is he worth now? 17 million. Absolute profit we can make on this lad. We signed him in, well, we started playing him in, what was it? It was in Season 1. Played 21 appearances. Remember, there was him and there was the other kid whose name I can't remember. He made a decent amount of appearances and was just being a solid defender for us. In fact, that second season is probably the season he made his most appearances. 18 starts. Nearly half the season he played from the start. Very, very good defender for us. Remember, he's the defender of the season in Serie A this season after only making 12 starts and 2 substitution appearances. He is a homegrown boy. He is one of our own, even though he's Hungarian. He is one of our own, and just absolutely superb. Castrovilli. As transfers go, possibly one of the more disappointing ones. We spent a decent chunk of money on him. He's not really performed up to the standard we wanted him to, but he did improve this season. 9 assists, 2 goals, only 2 assists the season before. We didn't really change anything about him this year. I think he just got used to the way that we played, but he's worth £54 million. We're definitely going to make a profit on him if he goes. I would probably be looking to move him on this season just because of that wage, because Stewart's a bit silly and he might have put a clause in that he shouldn't have. But he's done a very good job for us. Valentin Mihailov is a player I was expecting to have moved on by now, but he was here in Season 1. We signed him for £7.5 million. When I say we, I didn't do that. Then when we started, he was on loan at Atalanta. Only made 3 appearances, didn't do that well for them. Then he came to us. First season in the Serie A. Did very well for us. If I remember correctly, that first half of the season he did well, but then kind of collapsed towards the end of the season. That was a bit of a trend for him, but he did have 3 absolutely banging seasons in Serie A for us. And then this season, struggled with injury, struggled to get into the team because we had 3 very good wingers ahead of him. But he did still have an impact with a couple of goals and a couple of assists. Currently worth £14 million. Again, a player we'd make a healthy profit on. And genuinely, I'm surprised he's a player that's still at the club. Kasper Dolberg. Did we think when we signed him he was going to get 14 goals in 26 appearances for us last season? I don't think we did. The sale of Lorenzo Luca that was forced on us by release clauses definitely played in Kasper Dolberg's hands, and he is one of the main reasons we sustained a title challenge last year. Didn't do as well this season, but still, 5 goals in 14 appearances. Bear in mind, he only made 6 starts. That's pretty impressive, actually, and he was a more than capable backup striker for us this year. We signed him for 2 million, worth up to 11, worth every penny of that 2 million that we paid for him in every single way. Andrea Cambiasso, did we sign him in season? No, we signed him in season 3, I was going to say. I couldn't remember when we signed him. £8 million we signed him for. Consistency. That is the word. 28, 29 games a season. He has been fantastic for us. Didn't start as our first choice, remember, but he did evolve into that, and would probably be our first choice next season as well, unless we did find someone even better. Paid £9 million for him. He's worth up to £49 million now. Again, absolute value that we have in some of these players. Who do we want to look at next? I'm just going through them in any particular order, to be honest with you. I'm not going to look at too many of the new boys, although I do want to have a look at Johannesson. I mean, he's worth up to £92 million. We paid £44.5 million for him. He's had a very good season for us. His best season in football, to be fair. He's made 17 goal contributions in 32 appearances. The man is fantastic. Filippo Donvito, that's all I want to look at. Still technically a 4.5-star potential player at 17 years old. No youth caps, which is a bit of a concern. I would have liked to have seen him have one by now. Maybe he's won the under-17 Italian Player of the Year. Maybe he would, or Midfielder of the Year, sorry. Maybe he would go on to get those caps. But he has been superb for us whenever we've called on him. Made 3 appearances in Season 3 when we were just introducing him off the bench. Made a bunch of starts last season. 10 starts, 2 goals, 5 assists with 4 substitution appearances. And this season, he's played even more football. He's played 15 times, 7 of those starts, 8 of those assists, 6 goals. His goal output was ridiculous. He almost scored a goal a start, which is incredible. But no assist this year, which is a bit of a concern. But I do think he would grow to be a superb player. Advanced playmaker, we never played him as. It was always as either an attacking midfielder, a shadow striker, or towards the end of the season, a central midfielder on attack. And to be honest with you, he always looked good. Apparently, he is definitely a Serie A level player at the moment. That's nuts for a 17-year-old. I think he's been absolutely superb. Token look at Ramon Enriquez, just to show the ridiculousness of it. 3 seasons on loan. He played a bunch of games in those first 2 seasons, to be fair. I didn't quite realise how much he played. Last season, 2 starts and was just a bench player. And then this season, definitely the other way around, was more integrated into the team, was worth the money. I couldn't be happier with how he's done, considering the role he had in the squad, if I'm being honest with you. Someone we definitely need to look at. Leo Grimal. Here since day 1. We spent £3.1 million on him. He has been a consistent player. He has played around that 27 to 30 games a season kind of mark up until this season. This season, obviously, he had a bit more competition. Below was definitely in now. Obviously, we signed Mukiele. But he has been so consistent. Wasn't a goal-scoring centre-back, and I do normally like my centre-backs to be scoring goals. Other than last season, where he scored 5. He was incredible last season for us. His best season for us. But he has been fantastic all the way through. I wish his leadership was high, because he would have been our captain. But very, very well done from him. We've already looked at Coutinho. Let's have a look at Rooney Bargi. This kid is special. He's still a wonder kid. 20 years old, Swedish. He's already got 18 caps and 3 goals. Absolutely superb for us. We signed him for £10.25 million. He's worth up to 60 nearly. Brilliant for us. Absolutely brilliant. Struggled a bit last season, but this season he really did come alive. And I think if anyone was interested in him this year, they would have to pay a hefty fee for him. And we would not be willing to let him go very easily, if I'm honest with you. Mark Akana we don't need to look at because not a lot's happened. Fontan, probably the same. We don't need to look at him. The new wonder kid on the block, Jose Maria. 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. He is injury prone, but my word, what a talent this boy is. Not the most flair in the world, but that doesn't necessarily matter because he just delivers. 30 appearances, 8 goals, 7 assists. That's 15 goal contributions. That's basically a goal contribution every 2 games. And 3 player of the match is just chef's kiss. 40 minutes for £12.75 million. Worth 26. Probably worth more than that, to be honest with you. Certainly to us, he's worth more than that. Superb player. I think we'll probably leave looking at the squad there because actually there's a lot of players here. Some of them we probably already know everything about. We don't necessarily need to look at them. So what I do want to look at is a few past players in the squad and just see how they're getting on and remind ourselves of their contributions. And we'll start with one of the more recent ones who left, Dennis Mann. He made 120 appearances for us, but he's at Bournemouth. He played a season in the Premier League. Actually, how did Bournemouth do in the Premier League? Bournemouth stayed up. He's a Premier League player yet again. One more season in the Premier League. Happy days for him. 7 goals, 3 assists for Bournemouth in that league. But before that, he was a fantastic player. He was here since before day one. He signed in the 2020-2021 season, so we had him for his second season at the club. And was always good, but was never standout. Like 6 goals, 6 assists, 6 goals, 3 assists, 5 goals, 5 assists, 2 goals, 5 assists. Never really stood out for us, if I'm honest with you. And that's the reason why we ended up taking the plunge. And we made a hefty profit on him, so it was worthwhile doing, in my opinion. Gennaro Totino. This is someone who it really, really was difficult for me to actually put through to sell. But we always struggle with Totino because in some ways he's a striker, in some ways he's a midfielder, but it was a bit of a struggle. He's a player who we loaned from Napoli initially, but there was already an agreement in for £4.7 million, as you can see. Came in that first season in Serie B, lit the league up. 18 goals, 15 assists, utter madness. Played every game in that league as well, was player of the match twice. And then he came to Serie A and did very similar then. 13 goals, 6 assists in 33 games. Did an incredible job. And then, to be fair, these last 2 seasons weren't too bad. 7 goals, 7 assists wasn't too bad. 9 goals, 3 assists wasn't too bad. And even 7 goals and 2 assists in his season at Sassuolo wasn't too bad as well. But he was very anonymous in games. He'd show up and put the ball in the back of the net, but other than that, he wasn't contributing to play quite as much in those seasons. And that's why we decided to move him on. And again, made £20 million, £19 million, something like that. We made that on him. It was worthwhile getting rid of, to be honest with you. It does make me a bit sad to think about it, but I think it was worthwhile in the end. Put your hands up if you remember Lautaro Valenti, because I'd kind of forgotten about him until now. Argentinian international with 5 caps. We sold him a couple of seasons ago, actually, and we got some absolute dollar for him. He was with us as a new signing at the beginning of our journey in this save in Serie B. Was one of the best players with us in the league that season, and had 2 seasons in Serie A. And that second season, I mean, you can see right there, he only played 18 times from the start, 19 times in total, but got a 7.61 rating. That was enough for Paris Saint-Germain to come in and spend £41 million, 41, on him. And, well, he played a decent half a season in the first season there, but he's barely played this season. In fact, he played once. So I think he's probably regretting that decision. And at the time, we were not very happy about letting him go. Looking at him, we were to compare him to someone like Mukiele or even Thiat. I would say we probably did a good job in getting him in. He's worth £22 million. We made an absolute profit on him, and what can I say? I'm pretty happy about that, if I'm being completely honest with you. Obviously, we can't look too much at this guy, but Pasquale Sciattarella, former club captain, absolutely superb for us in those 3 seasons that we had him. He was absolutely instrumental in our midfield in those first 2 years, starting 34 games in Serie B, 7 goals, 8 assists. Reduced a little bit in the first season in Serie A, but still got 9 assists for the club in the middle of the parks, 27 league starts, didn't make a single substitution appearance, only started games and was never introduced off the bench. So if he was fit, he was starting. I mean, his final season only made 10 starts, but 9 substitution appearances, got a couple of assists. Did not get that goal we were hoping he would get before he retired to become our under-18s manager at Parma under-18s. And he is growing nicely in that role. Probably we should have given him a bit more time to develop as a coach, but I just wanted to keep him. To be honest with you, I just really, really wanted to keep him. And we definitely need to look at this man, Roberto Inglese, the first real hero of this save. He was here on loan for a couple of years before the save started, and then in 2021-2022 he exploded into life. 31 goals in 38 league appearances. Does that sound familiar to you? It probably should. It's the record that Seb Esposito has beaten this season. In fact, it's a very similar record actually, but this was in Serie B. He came to Serie A the following season. 14 starts, 7 substitution appearances, shared time with Esposito, and Esposito just outdid him. But 4 goals and 4 assists in the top league. Definitely nothing to be sniffed at. Did a great job for us, to be fair, and then went to Rostov, where he is still at the moment, still scoring a few goals every now and then, but definitely past his best. If we were going to continue in this save, I think we would be looking at him and we would say, let's get him in as a director of football. Let's do that. Or maybe as a coach. We might try and get him in as a coach, but we definitely want to do that. Oh, there's Pascal. We don't want to look at him. But I mean, what a hero. I mean, I was tempted at some point this season to bring him back just for a few games. Maybe get rid of Dolberg, but I thought Dolberg's way of playing last season just deserved him to stay, to be honest with you. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I'm very happy that we didn't do that. But Inglese would have been cool to have back for a little bit. Because, I mean, he's still got some attributes that could have led to him doing a decent job for us. Not much of a job, but some of a job. He could have been all right. I would be remiss not to look at this man, Gianluigi Buffon. He's our under-18 goalkeeping coach in Parma under-18s as well. And, well, I mean, what an absolute legend. A career that started at Parma, that was then bookended by Parma. He was our goalkeeper for our promotion season. Conceded only 28 goals, 9 clean sheets. Not the best return in the world, but he did a good job for us. And as you can see, what a career this man has had. Started his career at Parma in Serie A. And in his last season of playing club football, got the club back to Serie A. What an absolute legend this man is. So looking back through the tables of the save, obviously, the first season we were in Serie B. I couldn't really work out how to say Serie B because I was a bit silly. But we did go through with an unbeaten season, as you probably would expect. 94 points, 82 goals for, 31 goals against. We've gotten a better team in Serie A, to be fair, because our goal difference is better than that. Much better. But we did absolutely smash Brescia and Cremonese on the way to claiming that record there. And then in Season 2, we obviously ended up in Serie A. That's this season, Stu. Let's go all the way back to the bottom. And our first season, somehow we finished 4th. Still not sure how we did it, but did it, we did. And we weren't too far off the title either. Only 10 points off. We scored 70 goals. 34 conceded, a goal difference of 36. We did a great job there, absolutely fantastic. And the following season, we then won. We won one even better every single season, didn't we? 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. I've just realised that. That's kind of incredible. But we did do one better. 83 points, which was, what's that? 7 points more than what we did the season before. 82 goals for, 25 goals against. One of the best defences in the league and also the best attack in the league as well. But just wasn't quite enough for us to actually... Was that? Have I got that right? Yeah, I've got that right. It wasn't quite enough for us to get past Juventus or AC Milan. They both won the title. But again, we were in a title fight towards the end of the season. We knew it was probably not going to happen, but we were in a bit of a title fight. And then last season, I kind of don't want to talk about it. One thing I do want to mention, it still shocks me that Roma nearly got relegated. 1 point off in the end. But on the final day of the season, us versus Milan, Milan beating us by 4 points and only 6 goals. We knew we had to do something in terms of goals scored, probably defence as well. We focused on goals for. In fact, no, goals for we didn't. It was goals against that we needed to do Syncom, but we knew we needed the goal difference to be a bit better. So that season, in the transfer window, we then went out and splurged. Goals for definitely is the thing that we improved on more than anything. But our defence was certainly better than AC Milan's. That was the main thing, and we win the title, which is absolutely fantastic. In terms of the Coppa Italia, we might as well have a quick nose at this as well. I mean, we know that we've won it for the last couple of seasons. So obviously we didn't win it this season. Juventus ended up winning it 3-0 against Udinese. But last season we beat Lazio in extra time. And the season before we beat Inter as well. 2 very good trophies we won there. And the I'm not going to show you the Europa League stuff because you know about that. Getting to the final of that, it would have been nice to win that as well. But we've done very, very well. And having a look here, as you can see, Grimal, myself and Esposito, all favourite people at the club. And I think Inglese, yes he is. Inglese, as well as Buffon, both favoured on the favoured personnel list as icons. I'm surprised neither of them have made it to club legends like Hernan Crespo, Lucarelli and Scala. But you know what? Over time we probably would do that. But as you can see at the bottom, 1 Serie A, won by us. That is us. And I think we absolutely deserved it. It would have been nice to win the Europa League and add to the 95 and 99 trophies, but we didn't get to do that. We did, however, add 2 Coppa Italias to the ones won in 92, 99 and 2002. 2024 and 2025 were pretty special years. We won the one and only Serie B. Don't really need to talk about that. We did win 2 Super Coppas. 2 more... Well, 2 more than we had won. We'd won 1. I know what I'm trying to say. We've done very, very well. When you look at the graph here in the corner, we join here when we get relegated. Promotion, consistently at the top. The highest the club has ever been is right now in this save, and that makes me very, very proud. I know we've already been over this a little bit. We're just going to have a very, very quick look at some of the transfers that we've made. So we have spent a lot of money. It is worth pointing that out. In that first season, some of the money wasn't spent by us. It was already spent before we got here. But we brought in the likes of Leo Grimal, Sobotka, Demarcu, I think we brought in as well. I forgot about him, to be honest with you. Manuel Valeri, we brought in Junior Sambia and Juan Brunetta. We won't talk too much about Juan Brunetta, but we brought in a decent amount of players there. We made £6 million as well. We did move on quite a few players, but quite a few players are out on loan as well. So There was Deadwood to be cleared out. This is the guy who I was thinking of. The guy who was there with Below as a homegrown player who ended up moving on. I'm glad we did, because actually I don't think he's ended up making anything for himself. So, there we go. Dan, surname. That's the reason why we got rid of him, I think. Because I couldn't say what his surname was. So, yeah, we made a loss this season of about £6 million in terms of transfer. We spent that much overall. But that's okay. That's okay, because we got promoted. And then we spent only £15 million and we actually made a profit. £17.75 million brought in. Lots of players moved out. The biggest one was, I can't remember who it was, 4.7 million for Hanani. Again, a player who we didn't even sell. I think that was already pre-arranged, but we sold a lot of players to get up to that amount. And it ended up bringing the money in, and 15.75 million was spent. Highest transfer fee was for Monchu. That happened in January from Granada, and I think it was definitely money well spent. Tino was made permanent as well. Again, we had no say in that. We did bring in Dragowski, and we loaned in a bunch of players as well, including Sarui, Apaguma, Klunsa? I don't remember him. Don't remember him at all, but he played 11 appearances from us from a January, so it must have been okay. We brought in Jamie Shackleton. I'm going to be honest with you, I'd kind of forgotten about that one. But then, of course, you know about Enriquez and Esposito. Following season, we did spend a bit of money just to reinforce our place in the league. I think we did very, very well indeed. We brought in Marlon Freeze. Did we bring in Marlon Freeze? I don't remember us bringing Marlon Freeze in. Yeah, we did. Sorry. Having a moment then. We brought him in because he thought he looked good and he ended up not looking good. In terms of the biggest transfers in this window, we did spend a fair bit of money. Thiat was the biggest transfer from Bologna and was absolutely incredible for us. Obviously, we know he is our captain. He is our vice-captain. Probably would be our captain going forward, but he is a fantastic defender. And there's a reason why lots of big clubs have been after him. We signed Karabek as well for £12.5 million. Both of these guys were January transfers. We've been very good in January this year. Our January business has been superb. Cambiasso came in the summer, as did Lorenzo Luca. We'll get onto him in a minute. Martin Rabo came in as well. That one never ended up working out. He looked fantastic. I still think he will become a very good player. He's still got 5-star potential, allegedly. But didn't do that well for Ipswich this season. Hasn't made an appearance for Man City properly yet. Yeah, I didn't do very well. We spent £4 million on Danilo Cataldi. I think that is a steal. We sold him for around £20 million, I think, in the end. Did a very good job for us. I'm very, very happy with his contribution as vice-captain. Zappa came in as well. Yeah, Freeze, who I've just freaked out about. We won't talk about Fernandinho. Tony Toivonen, I think, is one of those players who we brought in. He cost us £500. I mean, I could pay that transfer fee in real life. It did okay for us. Ike Benasio was awful. Absolutely one of the worst players I've ever signed. Just did not do the job for us whatsoever, and I'm very, very happy that we didn't have to deal with him much more after those 2 appearances, because those 2 appearances were bad enough. And then we signed Hugo Fisher on loan. He's still at the club, actually, but never amounted to anything. And William Saliba and Nicola Fagioli. Fagioli came in and did a decent job in this season. William Saliba wasn't happy with his game time, so we let him go back to Arsenal, which was a shame, because I think he would have been a good defender for us. In terms of money out of the club, only 12 million made, so we did spend a lot of money on this season. In terms of the highest transfer fees received, it wasn't a lot because, again, we didn't really make a lot. Zagaritis, our backup left back left. I remember that. Benasio, we got rid of for 2.3 million. Remember, we got him in on a free, so that was a good one. Osorio, I do remember him being half a decent defender when we started as well, but he then left. 32 years old now. Sabotka went. Juan Brunetta went. Cyprian went. Marconi went. Tanner went. Mir went, Turk went, Radu, Rico. Lots of players leaving the club, but for not a lot of money, because a lot of them weren't worth a lot of money. Then, in the following season, 62 million spent, 132 million made. We made some dollar in this season, and I'd like to think it was down to my shrewd negotiating skills. Now, worth pointing out, maybe 1 or 2 of these transfers were actually for the previous the following season. So Dennis Mann is one of the top transfers. Technically, he left the season afterwards, but Valenti left. Mann left at the end of the season. Perez left after we brought him in, and we actually made a profit on him, which was very impressive, I thought. Luca left on a release clause. Rabo left on a release clause. 2 things I need to try and make sure don't happen again. Bonnie left. Drissa Camera left. I mean, these players didn't really cost anything, to be honest with you, but it's that bulk of transfers here which made us all of the money. And then in turn, we signed Newen Perez, who we then moved on in January. Let's not talk about that. Castrovilli probably wasn't worth the money we spent. Definitely wasn't worth the wages that we spent, but ended up doing a job for us. Rooney Bargi, what a transfer that was. Matteo Gabia did okay. Felipe Coutinho, what to transfer that was. Kasper Dolberg, what to transfer that was. And a bunch of players on loan as well, including Marco Silvestri, who, let's be completely honest with you, I don't think anyone expected to do as well as he did, but did well he did while he was at the club. And then this season, well, we spent a lot of money in this season. Remember, there should be another £30 million on the out, but that's because Dennis Mann's transfer was technically last season. Karnasechi coming in for £4.5 million. In fact, let's do it like this. Isaac Johannesson, £44.5 million. Mukiele, £37 million. Esposito, £29.5 million. Matthias Enrique, £23.5 million. Jose Fontan, $20.5 million. Marco Cana, $19.25 million. Jose Maria, $12.75 million. Brandon Soppy, $11.5 million. Roman Enriquez, $4.5 million. And Marco Karnasechi, $4.5 million. We spent a lot of money. That's £208 million. And even with that 30-odd million for Dennis Mann, it's still over £100 million spent when you balance everything out this season. Tino did leave. He went to Sassuolo, as we discussed. Totoldi went to Juventus. Gabia went to Almira. Valeri went to Norwich. Zappa went to Verona. And then we let Fernandinho go. We let a bunch of players go out on loan as well. So transfers-wise, I think we did very, very well. The finances are not ideal. We have lost a lot of money, but there is still £30 million in the bank. We have technically made a profit this month. I do think whoever would be coming in would be looking to steady the ship a bit, because we have got a lot of transfer debt, but we're in a position now where we're going to be in Europe next season at the very least. We've probably got a squad that can continue to do that, and we have got assets we can move on as well. If we were looking to rebuild this squad, what would we do? Well, Sambia's already leaving. We could let Thiat go this summer. We managed to make him stay twice this year. We could probably let him go and bring someone in for a fraction of the price that we're going to get for him, because he's going to be worth £73 million. Get someone in for £40 million. That's a job done. That's a healthy profit, and we've got some money in the kitty. Probably let the likes of Enrique and Enriquez go. They would be worth a decent amount of money, and we could bring in a couple of young players who wouldn't be worth that much. Maria, we wouldn't want to let go, but he would fetch a fee, as would Johannesson. Karabek would fetch a fee as well. Castrovilli. There's a lot of cash cows in this club that would actually generate a lot of money should we want to move people on, which obviously I don't think we would. In terms of how we've left the youth setup, the youth setup's always been a little bit hit and miss. The squads are average. There's not very good players in here, for being completely honest with you. If you sort everyone by potential, Don Vito's not even in the squad. A lot of these players have just been made available, so that says everything about the abilities in that squad. And here it's even worse as well. The youth is the one thing we couldn't really grasp. However, it did provide us Filippo Don Vito. So take that with a pinch of salt. It didn't develop many players, but when it developed them, oh boy, did it develop them. He is definitely someone who I think would have a bright future at this football club. £21 million he would be worth as well if we wanted to move him on. I think that's probably about it. We're going to have a quick look at the... It's not landmarks. It's not competitions. I'm trying to think of what the thing we need to look at. It's records. That was it. There we go. This is what I want to look at. So we're going to have a look at club records quickly before we end things up. So the highest ever league position we've achieved was this season. First in Serie A. We finished top. We won the title. It's also the season where we got the most points for the club. We didn't beat the Serie A record, but we did get our club record. We were nowhere near our fewest points in the season, which I'm happy to see. Most league wins in the season this season. Fewest wins in the season was nowhere near us. Most league defeats in the season, nowhere near us. Fewest league defeats in the season, that should have a little asterisk, because we actually did do that in our first season in Serie B, but I don't know whether because it was in Serie B, the game doesn't count it. Fewest draws in the season was this season as well. Most league goals in the season was this year as well. We absolutely smashed it. Highest attendance, nowhere near us, because our attendance isn't that high anymore. Gate receipts, we set that when we played Real Madrid. Average attendance, we set that last season. Lowest attendance, nowhere near us. Biggest win, biggest defeat, all that kind of stuff, nowhere near us, so that's okay. Highest transfer fee paid was Isaac Johannesson, £44.5 million, 52.047 thousand euros. So pretty good. We didn't get a very big transfer fee in this save. The highest one is the £48.5 million that were received for Hernan Crespo back in 2000s. Our total transfer spending has been £207 million. That is obscene. I'm assuming as well that is everything added together and everything minus stuff for sales as well. I'm assuming that's what it is. Most overall goals by a player in the season, Seb Esposito, absolutely. Most appearances by a player, Alessandro Lucarelli. I don't know whether we've got any players in our squad who would be close to that. I might have a look in a minute just to see. Highest average rating was Inglese in 2021-2022. Yeah, he was a machine. Youngest player, Filippo Don Vito. Oldest player, Buffon. Both in this save. Fastest goal, nothing to do with us. Most goals in a match. Technically, Gilardino, although he did do that, it was matched by Esposito this season as well. Most assists by a player in the season, 16 to Tino. I'm not 100% sure whether that's actually the record or not. I feel like there might be more than that, but hey, I'm going to take it. Most clean sheets by player in the season, Dragowski. Player of the match awards, Inglese. Youngest goal scorer, Don Vito. And oldest goal scorer, nothing to do with us, although not too far, only a few years before actually. Most matches won in a row, 9. Good effort. That was by us. Most matches without losing, wasn't us, 38. I'm surprised that wasn't us actually, because we've had some really big runs. Most matches lost in a row, nothing to do with us. Most matches without winning, nothing to do with us. Most matches without scoring actually was us, and we've only got 2, and I feel like that's definitely not going to be a thing. Most matches without conceding was also us as well. Again, I don't think that's going to be us, but that's the thing I wanted to have a quick look at. In terms of this season, we already know all of our stats, but there's a quick look if anyone wants to have a proper look at that. I'll give you a quick glance there. Our lowest league position this season was 16th. That was very near the start, I do believe. But we have been very, very good. I'm very happy to say that this save has been an absolute delight. I'm just going to quickly go through these. If you want to pause any of them or go back, you can do. Top goal scorers. This is an interesting one. So, Inglese in the first season, Seb Esposito in the following 2 seasons, Dolberg last year, and Esposito again. So, Esposito is our top goal scorer, which is pretty cool to see. Don't know whether I'd shown you this. This is actually our team's best 11, obviously considering the save. And it's interesting to me because they're all players I've signed. Dragowski's in there as the best goalkeeper. Buffon's actually only on the bench. But this does tell you some of the appearances. So 170 appearances for Dragowski. So he's done very, very well indeed. But Dragowski, Sambia, Thiat, Greenwell and Cambiasso. Can't really disagree with that. Below and Valenti both on the bench. No room for Valeri, interestingly. Monchu and Coutinho in the midfield. Coutinho in there is very interesting to me. 76 appearances. The fewest amount of appearances in that starting 11. Dennis Mann ends up kind of being the one who misses out there. But 14 goals. Did a very good job for us. Totino, Karabek and Mihaila are the front 3. I think for the first couple of seasons, Totino definitely deserves it. And Mihaila, I don't know. I feel like I'd probably put Rooney Barge or Dennis Mann in for him. But it's okay. And Esposito up front, I think him and Inglese definitely could fight for it, but I think Esposito has done a better job overall, consistently at a higher level as well. But that is it. That's the save. We've done everything we wanted to achieve. The aim was, remember, to return Parma to their former glory, to be a decent top-level team in Italy looking to challenge for titles, if not necessarily winning them. We've achieved that and surpassed it by winning the title, and to get us back into Europe as well. And we nearly won the Europa League, a trophy that this club has won in the past. We nearly did that as well. And we've also won the Coppa Italia a couple of times as well, which again is another trophy this club has won. But we won the big one that they've never won, Serie A. So, with all of that said, I think it's time for us to resign, and that means we do need to think about the future. We know what we're doing immediately next. Well, we know the type of thing we're doing immediately next. It is Inter or Juventus. I haven't decided yet. For those of you who don't know, go back and watch at the beginning of this season in the transfer special, because we had a decision to make, and that decision was we had job offers from Inter and Juventus. What do? We decided we're going to do a postscript of this save, an alternate version of this final season where we don't actually do the season and we change clubs. And we spend it with one of the big boys in Italy who have fallen on hard times in the last few years. And the question was, is it Inter or is it Juventus? Inter probably have arguably a better playing squad and had a very healthy transfer budget. I think it was £130 million or something like that. Juventus had £200 million of a transfer budget though, so the playing squad didn't really matter. And both of them are 4.5-star potential as well. This season, Juventus have finished just above Inter, so it'll be interesting to see whether that plays anything in my decision making. But that's for another video. For now, it's been a pleasure, Parma. It's been an absolute pleasure. You will be missed. I hope to revisit you in the future. But that's going to do it for today's episode, and that's going to do it for this series as well. I'm going to release a video talking about what's coming up on the channel. The things that are coming up are probably going to take us through to FM23, so I'm looking for something a little bit more long-term. I have got the ideas on what I want to do already. I've already experimented with thumbnails and things like that, so I do have an idea of what we're going to be doing, but I will show you in another video. But until then, you're going to have the one season save at either Inter or Juventus to enjoy. And I'm certainly going to enjoy spending some of that lovely, lovely money. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, it has been real. Apologies, I just realised how dark the camera had gotten. So thought I'd quickly change that just before the end of the video. But that is it. That is the end of the season. As you can see, we've had the email come through saying that they've had our resignation and that we have quit. Apparently, there's a mass exodus of players. So the assistant manager has gone. A bunch of coaches have gone. I'm looking for a couple of names in particular, and they're not there. I was seeing whether Buffon and Sciattarella had left. They haven't have stayed on. However, it's good to see that Dennis Bergkamp has followed me into unemployment. So if we did go to another club, we could potentially go there. But that is going to be it for this save. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have enjoyed, please do leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well so you never miss any lovely FM content. If you've got any ideas of what saves I should do in the future, please do let me know. I've got ideas buzzing around in my head. But I think I know what I'm doing immediately after this save and after the proscript save that I've talked about. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to be doing. But if you have any ideas, let me know on Twitter. It's twitter.com/StuboFM. I am going to be streaming again soon. It's been a long time since I've done a stream because my internet is so unpredictable and I just get really fed up with getting frustrated with it. So I've kind of taken a break from streaming. It's one of those that I didn't intend to take. But twitch.com/ is it .com or .tv? Twitch.tv/StuboFM. Nearly got it completely wrong there. Please do follow me over there and keep an eye out for when I am going to be streaming. There's a Coventry City save with my name on it that I need to finish. But until then, I've been Stubo. You guys have been awesome. And I will see you in the next save. Cheers.